When I was in 7th grade, my peers and I were all required to enroll in a foreign language. We had the choice between French, Spanish, German, and out of those three, I chose to take Spanish because at that age I felt that Spanish was the most prominent language besides English in our country, and I felt that it would be the most beneficial for me to have some background knowledge of. This being said, I took Spanish for 6 years, from 7th grade to 12th grade, and I can say that I remember very little. I was recently subbing in a Spanish classroom and an 8th grade Spanish classroom, and the students were asking me to help them with the Spanish, which was very basic, and I had no recollection of any of it. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10 for my learning of this language, where 10 being that I learned a lot and I remember a lot from that language, and a 1 being I didn't learn a lot and I don't remember a lot from that, I would put myself at about a 2 or a 3. I don't remember much at all, and I really couldn't apply it. Right after I graduated, I went to Mexico with my family for a family vacation, and we were trying to get on a ferry, and my parents looked at me to try to communicate with the person at the desk to buy our tickets, and I couldn't even communicate with that person to buy our tickets. It was very broken, and we had to use a lot of signaling to what we wanted. I couldn't really speak Spanish, and they couldn't really speak English, so it was tough, and it was really eye-opening to the fact that I didn't remember much of anything from Spanish class. From Spanish class, the way that I learned I don't think was the most beneficial. What we did was it was all based on vocabulary. We had vocabulary worksheets pretty much every single day, and then when it got time to conjugating the verbs, we had a lot of those. But again, it was based on vocabulary. We were never really asked to speak Spanish. It was always we were writing Spanish or just answering the fill in the blank or answering the question. But a lot of it was given to us, and we didn't really have to think about it because of the way the units were set up. We had the sheets right in front of us, and it was just about memorization or being able to find where the answer was in order to complete it. We didn't really have to speak it. We had, I think, through the course of each year, we had maybe 2 times where we had to speak it for a grade, and that was at our midterm and at our final exam. We had a speaking portion of each of those, and I can honestly say that I bombed both of those because we weren't really taught to speak it. We were taught how to write it and memorize it to get through the test. Now, part of one of the reasons that I don't think I succeeded much in Spanish is due to I was young, and I think I had a very much lack of motivation to learn the language. I saw the importance, but I didn't see that or think that I would ever use it in my life. So I just skated by to try to get through it because I didn't enjoy it, and it didn't seem necessary outside of the classroom. Now, I think that it didn't seem necessary outside of the classroom, partly due to the fact of the way that I was taught and the fact that we weren't made to speak it regularly. We just had to write it. And I think another part that I didn't see it useful outside of the classroom is because it wasn't spoken anywhere in my community besides the classroom. Now, it's hard for me to then think about this to then apply it to English language learners, because with them, it's spoken in the community most of the time, but it's not spoken in their household. If it's not spoken in your house where you are 99% of the time, it's going to be very hard for you to learn a language because you're not immersed in it 24/7. I also think that part of it was forced on me, and I didn't have a choice in the matter. It was, and it wasn't that it was forced on me in a way where I would be told that I would use it. It was forced on me in a way where I was told, you need this to graduate, or you need this in order to get through the year. You have no choice if you can take this class or not take this class. You're taking it. So I think that was part of it, and I didn't enjoy the memorization and all of that kind of stuff. But I think that if I was to take it now, it would be very difficult for me to learn. But I think I would put in a lot more effort to try to learn it. And I think that I could end up being more successful with learning a second language, as difficult as it might be.